Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Drafted Up podcast. We're back and we're ready to go. We took a nice week off. Real life got in the way. Couldn't really schedule a recording. But as promised, we're here today to give you a 3-round mock draft for Dynasty to finish off our 2024 draft cycle as we move on to full fantasy football. As always, you can follow us over on Twitter at DraftedUp_pod. We're on Apple, Spotify. Search Drafted Up Podcast. We should pop up. I'm Theo. That's Nick. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing great, as always. Nice week off. Did some statting out of guys. Still trugging, doing stuff.
Yeah, I did some today as
doesn't stop.
my windshield was getting repaired, so I statted out the Cleveland Browns. That was a blast.
Godspeed.
Actually, it was way easier than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's just a whole bunch of hoopla on that team. That's all that is. I like Amari Cooper a lot.
I like Njoku.
Oh, well, always. That dude won me a championship last year, baby.
Yeah,
I always try to snag him.
Yeah,
but the whole running back situation's tricky with Ford, and you don't know when Chubb's going to be healthy. Is Watson going to be Watson, or is he going to actually fucking turn up?
They also had Naheem Hines, who I had no idea was there, and that kind of makes sense.
He's coming off his own ACL injury, though.
Ken Dorsey's there, and they were together in Buffalo, or were supposed to be there, so I imagine he's going to have a role, but we'll discuss that. We'll fully dive into the Browns.
Yeah,
today
today
is about finishing up these rookies and doing a little shorter episode for you guys and doing the 3-round mock draft. So anything we need to talk about before we jump on into that?
A couple of deals got done since we last recorded. Your boy signed 4 years.
Yes,
whole bunch of money.
Jefferson did.
Was it 140, right?
Yeah, 4 years, 140 years, 140 year extension, $140 million extension. Mom actually came up today.
Guaranteed, right?
Yeah, she's just like, Jefferson signed. I'm like, yeah, I know. She's like, is he worth it? And I'm like, here we go, Mom. Our mom doesn't think Justin Jefferson's good. She happened to be watching one Vikings game with us, and she's like, oh, that Jefferson guy, he's not great. And we're like, he's like the best. And then she's like, well, you guys don't have a quarterback. And I'm like, well, we got J.J. McCarthy, baby. QB1.
I mean, you're not paying a quarterback for the next 5 years, so pay J.J.
and
that money.
It lines up. So if J.J. does work out, McCarthy, his contract extension or deal is going to need to be done right when Jefferson's is. So it'll be interesting to see how the Vikings maneuver that.
Indeed.
But Jefferson should be there, hopefully through the whole McCarthy era, and hopefully it works out.
Indeed. McCaffrey got an extension today as well. 2 years, 38 mil or something like that. So stuck.
Highest paid running back in the league, as he should be.
Indeed.
And
no one better.
CeeDee Lamb holding out, not showing up at camp.
He'll get paid.
Eventually. Him and Chase will be next. They'll reset the market.
A lot of debate going around. You think he gets more than Jefferson?
I think he'll get the same. Maybe slightly less.
I think he's going to get similar guaranteed, but I don't think it's going to be the same amount. I think Jefferson's in a whole different tier of his own.
So I think CD's deal will be longer. I don't think it's going to be 4 years. I think CD will get a longer deal.
Yeah, I think CD and Chase are in a tier together, and they all get paid very heavily, very well.
And both deserved.
Well deserved. Yeah, hell yeah.
And T. Higgins just sitting there like,
that guy's in a whole tier, 2-3 tiers below those guys. Yeah. So,
but he's sitting there seeing all these guys get paid. Be like, well, why not me? Why not me? And he'll get paid next year. Someone will.
Indeed. Brandon Ayuk's the one that interests me. I want to know how much he gets because he's not quite as good as those other guys, but he is deserving of money.
Yeah. And we'll see if it's even with San Francisco.
Indeed. Very true.
All right, let's dive on in here. We're going to try this for the first time. It worked in trials. I had it up when Nick logged on. And we're going to share the screen. Hot dog, it worked, baby. Here we go. So all of you visual folks watching on YouTube, I even think Spotify has the little video playing, you'll be able to see the draft as we go. So that'll be neat, a little neato burrito as I learn how to be technology. I
personally can't see the draft on our screen, but I can see it on my phone, so I'm not worried about it.
Okay. Yeah, you're invited into the thing so you can see it. But for all you visual people, I am booting up the online to be interneting. Here we go. So we did a little random. It's going to be a 12-team rookie dynasty draft. Nick got randomized into the 6th spot. I will be drafting from 9. And let's start this draft. Are you ready?
Yes. Not snake order for those listening and watching.
Yes,
it is straight through because it is a dynasty draft.
Yes, linear style. We did briefly discuss. I actually messaged Nick before we started to see if he wanted to do like a 10-round startup, but maybe we'll do that some other time.
I am 100% in for that. We will do it at some point. 100%.
Yeah. So here we go. Let's start the draft. Yes, the action can't be undone. Here we go. Team. Ooh, that's loud.
That is loud. Fenner's got sound coming from his stuff.
I think it's your phone.
My phone's on silent, brother.
Yeah, so is my computer.
I'm just telling you, no sound was coming through my end. It was on my headphones.
Oh boy. Well, now we get to internet.
But I am up at 6.
Yes,
the picks were Marvin Harrison at 1-1, Malik Neighbors at 1-2, Roma Dunze at 1-3, Xavier Worthy at 1-4, Brock Bowers, tight end, at 1-5. So it was 4 receivers to start, and then a tight end at 5. I think that's pretty much set. I would personally take Bowers over Worthy, but I do think the first 3 guys in Bowers should be the first 4. Worthy is in contention for a top 5 spot just based off he landed in Kansas City, so I get the hype. I get it. Me personally, I would not take him. I'm up here at 6. Brian Thomas, top guy. Besides, that's not a quarterback.
Okay, I was gonna say Caleb Williams, top guy on my board.
I personally wouldn't want to take a quarterback. But I am going to take a receiver. It's not Brian Thomas. It is Keon Coleman out of Buffalo. He is my 4th ranked receiver. I'm going to lock Keon Coleman in at 1-6. I think he's got a lot of.
Did it?
Good job. His ceiling is. It's not even there in Buffalo. He has impeccable ceilings.
They really should have a dome though in Buffalo. Limit his ceiling.
Ha 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 ha. I agree. They should have a dome just based off of games getting canceled in fucking Buffalo.
You guys heard me sighing. That was because Brian Thomas Jr. went. Teammate stole him from me.
Indeed,
they stole my guy. So, players that went Team 7 took Caleb Williams. Team 8 took Brian Thomas Jr. That puts me up, and I'm looking at 2 guys here.
I'm gonna quick stop. How do you feel about Caleb Williams going over Jaden Daniels in a fantasy purpose rank, like just purely fantasy?
I'm fine with it because I think Caleb Williams has more long-standing ability than Jaden Daniels. I think Daniels' frame and his play style, I think lends him more to being potentially injury-prone for a lot of his career.
Only in Dynasty, you're taking Caleb Williams over Jaden Daniels.
Yes, right now. If we're doing a redraft, yeah. I'm probably leaning Daniels because he has way more rushing upside than Caleb Williams. I don't necessarily trust Chicago's offensive coordinator being Shane Waldron. Like Seattle's offense last year wasn't great, and they had a similar situation. 3 really good receivers, a passable tight end, good run game. And Seattle just kind of shit the bed fantasy-wise. DK and Tyler Lockett were like okay guys. Like, DK was a good wide receiver too, but like they didn't blow it up. Whereas like I think Jaden Daniels could rush for almost 1,000 yards, and he's going to give you way more upside. He could be a terrible pro quarterback this year.
I agree,
but he could be a really good fantasy asset because of his rushing abilities. Plus, I mean, he is a good pocket passer from time to time, but Dynasty-wise, I'm going to lean Caleb Williams because I think he has a longer career.
I get that. I have it a lot closer than I would think most people would.
So I'm down to 2 guys here, and that's going to be Ladd McConkey and Adonai Mitchell. Ladd McConkey, the receiver from the Chargers, Mitchell, the receiver from the Colts. And I'm going to go with McConkey here. He could be the one right off the bat, and Justin Herbert and him could kind of be his new Keenan Allen. So I'm hoping that's how it goes, and that's where I'm going here with McConkey.
You didn't have Brooks on your board at all. I'm very surprised to hear that, actually.
No, I'm so anti-running back.
I get it. Man, I really like Brooks, though.
Yeah. So Team 10 after me, they went Jonathan Brooks. Team 11 took Trey Benson. I can't scroll over. Who Team 12 took?
Adonai Mitchell.
Thank you. This is a pain. Yes. There we go. Now I had the bar to scroll. Yes. Adonai Mitchell went 12. Jaden Daniels went 1 in the second round. Blake Corum went second round, pick 2. Jalen Wright, running back for the Dolphins, third pick. Marshawn Lloyd, Packers running back, fourth pick. Xavier Legette, fifth pick, and that puts Nick up at the 2-6. Picked Keon Coleman with his first round selection.
I'm not going to lie. I was kind of hoping for one of those running backs that went. And now I'm kind of bummed that they all went. The top guys on the board are Troy Franklin, Ricky Pearsall, Jalen Polk, who I do like them a lot. Ben Sinat's there. And after that, it's kind of just a shit shoot. I feel obligated to take Ricky Pearsall just based off him being a first round pick. But, man, I don't know. Jermaine Burton's down here, and I really think he's gonna be...
That's your dude.
Troy Franklin's ranked really high, right?
Yeah, I think he is, but I think
he's like a fourth round pick.
I think people are buying into that he could be the 2 in Denver right away, and the Bo Nix connection.
I get it. Denver's kind of weak at receiver after Sutton, but to be over Pearsall and Jalen Polk's probably going to be the 2, maybe the 1 come mid-season in New England. I don't know, man. I'm going to go Jalen Polk. I talked myself into that. Jalen Polk, wide receiver out of Washington. Well, college Washington. He is playing for New England this year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we don't know the quarterback situation in New England yet. Brissett has taken every first-team rep in OTA so far. Drake May hasn't taken any.
Yeah, I think Brissett's going to be the quarterback.
I kind of agree. I think Brissett's going to end up getting the job, which I personally love. I've been on the podcast preaching that I think rookies should sit. I don't care who they are. I think it's great for their developmental.
Mm-hmm. All right, after you, Team 7 did take Troy Franklin, wide receiver for the Broncos. Team 8 took Tyrone Tracy, running back from the Giants. That one kind of hurts, as you guys know I'm all in on Tyrone Tracy here as a Giant. So I'm sitting here, I'm looking. I don't really like how the running backs fell to me.
I don't like how the running backs have fell at all in this draft. To be honest.
Ray Davis, top running back on the board. Kamani Vidal's interesting. Braylon Allen looking large at Jets camp. I don't know if you get a chance to look him up. Dude's looking like a menace.
Speaking of guys in OTAs, have you seen Javon Baker's quads, bro?
Looking
thick as shit in New England, baby.
Yeah, you gotta give
him and Polk though are gonna be great in New England.
Yeah,
I love it.
Got to give him the quad boost. I think I'm going to go with my guy here. My dude, Ben Sinnott, the tight end from the Washington Commanders, the Big Howdies. And I'm going to pair him up with Ladd McConkey.
He's usually going in towards the last round of redrafts, and I love that value. I think he has some type of upside. Rookie tight ends usually don't develop a lot in fantasy in the rookie year, but I think him and the Commanders, in the last round of fantasy, you're throwing darts. So
yeah,
I like the value.
Yeah, especially in Dynasty, like I'm getting him long term here with Ladd McConkey. I'm getting 2 guys who are going to be heavily involved in their offense. After me, Team 10 took Ricky Pearsall to pair up with Jonathan Brooks, Roman Wilson for Team 11 to pair up with Trey Benson, and Ray Davis at Team 12 to pair up with Adonai Mitchell, Kamani Vidal to round out Team 1, J.J. McCarthy to round out Team 2, Jatavian Sanders to round out Team 3, Drake May to Team 4, and the aforementioned Braylon Allen to finish off Team 5, putting Nick back on the clock. He's got Jalen Polk and Keon Coleman. You going to go for a third receiver here?
I mean, Jermaine Burton's on the board, and I think he's going to end up being one of the better receivers in the draft. But Bo Nix is still here. Luke McCaffrey.
Nick for Knicks.
Malachi Corley. Quad Baker. We were just talking about that guy. But Malachi Corley, I'm not going to let that guy slip past me. I've been on the pod preaching, and I will not have any type of ill slander towards Malachi Corley. I'll snag up 3 receivers in this draft. I don't care.
All right. After Corley, Aldrich Estime went to finish Team 7. Bo Nix to Team 8. I was actually looking at Bo Nix, but
Great pick.
I will not be. So that puts me on the clock here. Team 9. I got Ladd McConkey and Ben Sinnott. Michael Penix is here. That one's kind of interesting.
In a Dynasty League, Penix is a great pick. You're sitting on him just like the Falcons are.
Yep, I'm looking at that. Theo Johnson's there. Darren Waller might retire. He could be a fall right in, but I got Ben Sinnott, so I'm not really looking to get another tight end. But I'm going to snag your guy, Jermaine Burton, here.
Smart
you
pick.
know, there's a chance T. Higgins is not there after this season, leaving an opening for Jermaine Burton to step in and be the potential wide receiver 2 in a high-powered offense. And I think I like that more than just sitting and holding on to Michael Penix.
I think there's a really good chance that Burton pick gets you some type of value this year in his rookie season. I don't see how Tyler Boyd was always an option as Cincinnati's 3. So I don't see why Jermaine Burton, who is probably more talented than Boyd, isn't going to get. Who the fuck's that last pick?
Don Slovis, the quarterback from Kentucky.
What the fuck? Okay.
I want to remove that pick. Can I do that?
Yes. But yeah, Theo Johnson went after TJ's Jermaine Burton pick. Theo Johnson, who's probably going to end up starting for the Giants since Darren Waller's most likely walking away, will have some type of answer soon. Hopefully. Good God. As a Giants fan, I would love an answer. Michael Penix goes to pick after that, 311. Again, sitting on Penix, just like Atlanta. So, I love the value. And then the last pick is that guy from Indiana.
Slovis. They have to get the stack with Adonai Mitchell, dog.
That's smart.
Yeah. What if Anthony Richardson goes down? He's
injury prone.
He's the guy, I guess. We're going to disregard that last pick. I'm just going to pretend it didn't exist. So there we go. A little quick mock. Wow, we got 20 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about our team. How you feeling about your 3 guys? You took you had spot 6, so you had Keon Coleman, Jalen Polk, and Malachi Corley.
Coleman has a chance to be the one in Buffalo this year. Polk has a chance to be the one in New England this year. And Malachi Corley is going to see a bunch of targets right off the bat with Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
And all long-term going, I think they all have good value. Corley, not so much based off quarterback situation. You don't know where Rodgers is going to be going forward.
Yeah.
And then if Drake May works out in New England, Jalen Polk's set, because Jalen Polk's going to be good. PPR guy, he's going to get a lot of catches. And Keon Coleman he's Buffalo's favorite player at this point.
Yeah, he's everybody's favorite player. That dude is a media sensation. I love it. I know you mentioned briefly when you were on the clock with the Polk pick that you were really hoping for one of those running backs. Who was your target there?
I would have preferred Trey Benson, obviously, but he went in the back end of the first.
Mm.
But I would have taken Blake Corum, Jalen Wright, or Marshawn Lloyd. Probably Marshawn Lloyd, though, would be my top target out of those 3. I'm not high on Josh Jacobs at all this year. I don't really care for him too much.
I think from an early standpoint, you're going to get an opportunity for Marshawn Lloyd, whereas Jalen Wright and Blake Corum are going to sit, and you're going to have to hope for time for them this year at least.
Yeah, Wright really is only going to see the field if Mostert or H-Chain's off the field this year. But then come the following years when Mostert's probably not going to be there, it'll be him and H-Chain, which will be a nice combo.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about your 3? You got Ladd McConkey, Ben Sinnott, and then Jermaine Burton. All guys, I'm loving it.
Yeah, I really liked how it turned out. McConkey was really the only pick where I had to really sit and think because there was more options there.
Mm-hmm.
I do wish, because I didn't think Jermaine Burton would be available in the third round, especially the
That's
back end.
that's insane that
So
he fell
I
so far.
kind of do wish, in retrospect, I would have went with Trey Benson or Johnny Brooks at 9, just to get a running back with my stable there. But Ladd McConkey have a chance at a wide receiver 1 in Los Angeles, and Chargers, like, Harbaugh loves focusing. He's really just one option in the passing game, and if that's McConkey, I already got he's paired up with an elite quarterback in Justin Herbert, so I have a surefire guy. Like, Keenan Allen was a fantasy monster the last couple of years, consistent targets, consistent catches, always putting up 1,000 yards, close to 7 touchdowns every year. If I can get that from McConkey, I have a hit. Jermaine Burton, a lot of upside, big flashy guy. I'm banking on T. Higgins not being there next season, and if that happens, I have potential, like I said, wide receiver 2 and a high-powered offense that likely is going to want to pass the ball going forward. And Ben Sinnott's probably my riskiest pick, because I'm banking on a rookie tight end who's a little bit undersized, but I've loved his tape from the start. I think he fell into a great situation in Washington. There's already established weapons there, so there's not going to be any prime focus on him. Plus, Cliff Kingsbury does like utilizing the tight end. Zach Ertz had numbers in Arizona with Cliff Kingsbury, who happens to also be in Washington too with Kingsbury again. So, but Zach Ertz has no real longevity. Like, he's got a half year this year, and then Ben Sinnott should take over, and he's also a piece they can move around. So I really like how the board fell for me there in the end.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Washington went out and they got Sinat in the second round. So the draft capital's there. They're going to go out and use him at some point. It might not be right off the bat, but come week 12, 13, you're going to see a lot of him in the offense.
Yeah. There we go. We'll recap run through. Team 1, they took Marvin Harrison Jr., Arizona, wide receiver, Jaden Daniels, the quarterback for the Commanders, and Kamani Vidal, the running back for the Chargers. Team 2 went...
That's a great draft from Team 1.
Team 1. Yeah, getting Daniels there in the second to pair with Marv, who should be the 1-1 in every standard Dynasty leagues. Not super flex. If you're a super flex, your quarterbacks are going to boost up, but...
Nope, still taking Marv 1.
Yeah, okay.
Nope. Okay. I'm not... super flex, you can go out and get old quarterbacks like Stafford or guys like Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield wasn't a guy that was wanted. And then he went out and had a huge year. Now Baker Mayfield's, oh shit, I'm sitting on Baker Mayfield. So I would personally still take Marv. I would take the 3 receivers over Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels in a super flex league.
Yeah, the Daniels in the second, then Vidal, who we've talked about here, who could fall into playing time with the Chargers because Gus Edwards is 29. He's not exactly the best running back. J.K. Dobbins can never stay healthy, whereas Kamani Vidal could be Gus Edwards for that offense for Greg Roman.
He was also very productive in college, so
so to get good value, that's a great dart throw too. Like, we have to cut him, like, okay, but you're banking on a guy potentially getting playing time. Team 2, Malik Neighbors, Blake Corum, J.J. McCarthy. Neighbors, to me, no brainer as the second pick. Corum's a good safety net. If Kyron Williams gets hurt, Corum's going to fall into a lot of work because the Rams love to utilize just one back, and JJ. That's banking on upside there. Plus, he's established weapons, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson. So that could boost his fantasy value there. I really like Team 2 as well.
Even I don't mind the JJ pick there in the third. It is what it is. I actually think Blake Corum could see a decent amount of time this year, just trying to keep Williams healthy and good for the later part of the year, which he missed last season. And the Rams were really affected by that. So I think you could see not a whole bunch of a 2-back system, but just enough to keep Williams more healthy in the back end of the year.
More like a 65-45 split, or even 65-35.
Yeah, I was gonna say but yeah, just a little bit to Corum's way to keep Williams healthy for the back end.
Team 3, they went Rome Odunze, Chicago Bears wide receiver, Jaden Wright, running back for the Dolphins, and Jatavian Sanders, tight end for Carolina. This team, I don't like it as much as Team 1 and Team 2.
I agree. I like Rome. I love Rome a lot. But Wright it's risky. He's not going to be a one option ever in Miami. And then Sanders is a complete dart throw, but I wouldn't have taken him over Drake May that is the pick after him.
No, I wouldn't have taken him over
Most of
Braylon
the
Allen
picks.
or Malachi
Yeah.
Corley either.
Yeah.
So
Even Bo
that
Nix or Jermaine Burton. Yeah, guys like that.
Like that one's kind of interesting because Sanders is going to a team who doesn't necessarily utilize the tight end position, and they also drafted Leggett, same draft, so you got to figure there's favoritism for Leggett. They traded for Deontay Johnson. They also drafted Jonathan Brooks. Like Jatavian Sanders was their third drafted offensive weapon.
Yeah.
So who knows how much like long-standing upside he's going to bring you from a position that's not necessarily utilized on the team. But we'll see. Like super athletic dude. He should be the starter though. So
I personally like him a lot, but how many times can we say this on the podcast? It's Carolina. I don't trust anything Carolina's producing, so I just can't do it. I just cannot put myself through it.
Team 4 went Xavier Worthy, wide receiver for the Chiefs, Marshawn Lloyd, running back for the Packers, and Drake May, quarterback for New England. I actually like this team more in reverse. Like I think Drake May was their best pick, and then I think Marshawn Lloyd, and then I think Xavier Worthy was their third best pick, and it happened to be their first pick.
If you would swap Rome to this team with Worthy on the other team, Worthy ruins this team in my opinion. I couldn't agree more. I love Lloyd. I think he's got a good amount of upside in Green Bay. I don't like Josh Jacobs going forward. Drake May is going to be a legit option in a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
But you took Worthy over Brock Bowers and Keon Coleman and Brian Thomas, and that's coming from me. I don't like Brian Thomas, but I'm taking him over Worthy every time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I would too. I get buying into Worthy because, Chiefs wide receiver, and there's the question whether with Rashee Rice this year, but that's just this year.
How often does that work out, though? It didn't work for Sky Moore. It doesn't work for Tony. It doesn't work for MVS, Martez Valdez-Scantling.
Nope.
It's sure. Rashee Rice looked amazing. Too bad he's a fucking idiot, dude.
Yeah, so we'll see. Team 5, I do really like this one. Brock Bowers, tight end for the Raiders. That's in the first. Xavier Leggett, wide receiver for the Panthers in the second. And Braylon Allen, running back for the Jets in the third. I really like how their board fell to him.
Mm-hmm.
Braylon Allen, if Breece Hall gets hurt, he's probably the guy there. And the Jets are going to want to run the ball, try to keep Rodgers, as upright as possible and like keep as much pressure off him as possible. He's not a spring chicken anymore. He's old.
Yeah.
And Braylon Allen's going to be an absolute bruiser. Like I said, like he's looking insane in camp. Like the guy is built like a tank.
He's huge,
super
dude.
young. Yeah. Leggett, 1-year college guy, but love the tape this year. I love his athleticism. I love his personality. I think he brings something a little extra to the table that the Panthers don't necessarily have. Mm-hmm. I do just worry that they try to make him Quentin Johnston and just try to throw him deep balls, which he can do, but let this guy be a yak dude and he'd excel. And then Brock Bowers, more of a weapon than a tight end in Vegas. I really like that.
I love Brock Bowers going forward, even his rookie year. Leggett's a guy I'm not personally. I love Leggett, but again, Carolina makes me worry. But I would be willing to take a chance on Leggett if he would have fell to me that 2-6. I would have snagged him up. And yeah, Brandon Allen's going to be fine. He's a big body, but again, Breece Hall's there, so he's got to. You're playing backup at that point.
And then we have your team, Team 6: Keon Coleman, Jalen Polk, Malachi Corley, wide receivers.
Receiver straight through. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I do like it. I'm big on Jalen Polk. Like, I love drafting him in redraft this year just because a lot of rookie wide receivers you see at the back end of the year when it matters in fantasy, they start, they pick things up and they start, get numbers and producing. And Jalen Polk could be one of those guys. He could fall into a number one role in an offense, and those are things you want. Like, he's going to get targets if he is the number one guy. Corley should play that Randall Cobb role really well for the Jets, for Aaron Rodgers. Plus, Mike Williams is one step away from blowing out his leg again because that's just how it goes for that guy
every year. And
then Keon Coleman, we mentioned the ceiling for that guy is unlimited with Josh Allen and in Buffalo. Yeah. Like he especially, like, I think he's going to be a real late. If you draft him and he struggles early, just hang on to him because I think he's going to pick it up and be a guy who could win you a title at the end of the year.
Yeah, like just hold down. It'll be fine if it starts off slow. The back end of Keon Coleman's year one is going to be nice.
Yep.
Jalen Polk, hold on, because I'm a fiend, I'm out here doing best ball leagues already. Jalen Polk's probably my most consistent pick in like the last 2 rounds, just to get a guy that I know is going to produce at some point in the year.
So you like Polk more in best ball than Javon Baker?
And best ball, yeah.
I feel Javon Baker is a best ball receiver.
See, I don't think Baker's going to see the field too much this year. I think he's going to see it, but I don't think he's going to be as often. I think Polk's going to be on the field a lot.
All right, Team 7, Caleb Williams, quarterback for the Bears, Troy Franklin, wide receiver for the Broncos, Audric Estime, running back for the Broncos. They really dropped the ball not taking Bo Nix here. Just Team 7, big Broncos guys.
Big Broncos fans, for sure. Broncos country, let's ride, baby.
Let's ride. And that's what they're doing here. Caleb Williams, I get the pick here at 7. Like, I think this is his range. I think his range starts between 6 and 12. That's where he's going to go.
I agree.
And, snag him up. Like, there is value there. Like, I know you're anti-quarterback, but, I think I'm going to take Caleb Williams upside long-term. Like, I'm going to bank in. I'm going to have a elite fantasy quarterback for a handful of years, and I can just ignore that position forever. And then Troy Franklin, I don't hate it. I don't love it, but I understand it. Like, he should get targets. I just worry that it's blown out of proportion, him being with Bo Nix and whatnot. Like, there's a reason he was a 4th-round pick. Audric Estime, though, I hear he's going to play a part in this running back committee, though. Like, he's going to compete for a spot. Like, Sean Payton, what he does is he produces options at fantasy running back. So I like that pick in the 3rd.
I agree. The Denver running back committee is going to be really interesting to watch it through camp and how it plays. Because Samaje Perine is still there technically, so that's 4 guys that are going to be competing for all these carries.
I don't think Perine's going to make the team.
I don't. Couldn't agree more. But as of right now, he's still listed as the backup.
I think Jaleel McLaughlin ends up in the Perine role, and then Javonte Williams and Audric Estime are going to fight out for the bruiser role.
I like Javonte Williams a lot this year.
Yeah.
I do.
Not this guy.
We'll see.
But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Team 8, Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver for the Jags.
Bum.
Tyron Tracy, running back for the Giants, and Bo Nix, quarterback for the Broncos. What was the bum? You got breaking news?
No, just bum. BUM for Brian Thomas.
Incorrect. Bum as in big utilized man. Bum. Brian Thomas Jr.
The highly debated Brian Thomas Jr. on the podcast. It's a good spot for him. I'm fine with the pick, but I'm so dreaded to see because his rookie year is going to be great. He's going to look great this year, just like every Jacksonville receiver does, and then he's just going to fucking. Not it, dude. Christian Kirk's going to outperform him. I'm so confident.
I mean, Christian Kirk is an underrated receiver, so
Christian Kirk's great, dude. I love Christian Kirk.
Yes, but I do think, I've said it before, I think it's in the cards that Brian Thomas Jr. has 1,200 yards this year and 7+ touchdowns on like 50 catches.
See, I see stats being closer to Gabe Davis's than Christian Kirk's.
Okay. Yeah, I think he's going to blow Gabe Davis out the water. I don't think Gabe Davis is going to be there after this year. Brian Thomas Jr. is playing that guy right out of town.
But there's a good chance Gabe Davis is a fucking bum, dude.
Yeah. But those top 2 guys are me, dudes. Like, I love Tyrone Tracy, especially in Dynasty. Like I've said, like I think there's a chance he plays into the RB2 role and could even take time from Singletary this year if he struggles. I love Brian Thomas Jr. I think you're gonna bank on him right away. Like, he's gonna produce for you as a rookie, and then you could probably sell him. Like, someone's gonna buy him. Like, you could probably look at the number. Yeah, look at this guy did, and then like. No, because I'm gonna have him already. I ain't selling him.
That is true.
I'm gonna try to get every share of Brian Thomas Jr. I can get, and I'm locking in forever, baby.
See, even as a Giants fan, Tyron Tracy doesn't really intrigue me too much. I'm fine with him. I think he's gonna be decent. I low key like Singletary a lot this year, and I love that Bo Nix pick. I think he's gonna be
Bo Nix in the 3rd. Really, really good pick. You got yourself a steady, just reliable second option at quarterback.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Team 9, that's me. Lad McConkey, Ben Sinnott, Jermaine Burton. I've already talked about my team. What did you think?
I love it. I love Lad. I love Sinna, and I could not be higher on Jermaine Burton than probably everybody around.
Yes, that's your guy. That's your
Lad's going to
guy.
eat up targets. If it's not this year, it's going to be next year. So Dynasty is a perfect pick.
Yeah. Team 10, Johnny Brooks, running back for the Panthers, Ricky Pearsall, wide receiver for the 49ers, and Theo Johnson, tight end for the Giants. I like this draft. I do. Johnny Brooks could be a viable option year one if he's healthy, and Carolina has question marks at running back. Like, is Chuba Hubbard going to hold down that role? I don't think Miles Sanders is going to do anything this year if he's even on the team.
No, I agree. I think Brooks has a decent amount of impact, especially late this season.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you're going to want him. You want him in that back end of the season when they're at their highest peak and they're carrying you through the playoffs, dude.
Yep. Ricky Pearsall, he's going to be a guy future-wise, like either Ayuk or Samuel's not going to be there likely in a year or two, so that puts Ricky Pearsall into a wide receiver 2 role in a really good offense. And Theo Johnson, we brought up Darren Waller might not be there. He could be the tight end 1 for the Giants this year.
Yeah. Theo Johnson's going to slide into the Darren Waller world, and he's going to have some type of impact. Is he going to be good? I could not tell you. Scary picks, and that's coming from a Giants fan.
Yeah. Team 11, Trey Benson, running back for the Cardinals, Roman Wilson, running back, wide receiver for the Steelers, and Michael Penix Jr., quarterback for Atlanta. This is a rock-solid draft here for the end of the round.
I peeped this. When you were reading Team 10, I was looking at Team 11. I'm like, Team 11 is really good.
Yeah, like Trey Benson, I don't think is going to do a whole lot this year. Like, he's going to start a game or two because James Conner will miss time. But
there's
going
a chance.
forward,
I think there's a legitimate chance that if James Conner gets hurt, Trey Benson's going to pick up that ball and.
Oh, you don't think they go back to him?
No.
Wow.
It's a chance. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Okay.
But there is an actual chance that Trey Benson is starting the rest of the year.
Okay. I
do like James Conner a lot this year, but keep an eye on Trey Benson.
Yeah. I don't think the Cardinals would do that. I think you would. I think if anything, you'll see more of a 50-50 shift if that were the case.
I agree.
But James Conner probably not there after this year. Then you're locked into an RB1 on a team that wants to run the ball, has done things to improve this offense. Trey Benson's a really good pick. I do kind of wish I took him at 9 over Ladd.
I would personally take him over Jonathan Brooks, but he was my RB1 throughout the whole process. So I think that's just me liking Trey Benson more. But yeah, I like the situation too. He's in a
Roman
good
Wilson.
Team.
Really safe pick at the end of the second. The Steelers produce wide receivers at mid rounds. Like, that's just like their gift to the world.
Yeah.
And he's going to get time there. He's going to be a real safety net, work the field. Perfect complement to George Pickens. Michael Penix, I actually debated picking him over Jermaine Burton, but I couldn't go past that Jermaine Burton upside. Penix, really good pick here in the third. Like, he could easily be like, once he gets into the starting position, he could be a top 12 fantasy quarterback, a QB1 for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree. He's got the arm to be a QB1 in fantasy.
Yeah. And then Team 12, the confusing team, Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver for the Colts, Ray Davis, running back for the Bills, and Kadon Slovis, the quarterback for the Colts. Javon Baker, undrafted.
That pick was either Javon Baker or Bucky Irving. That's how I'm looking at that. But I like A.D. Mitchell a lot. Ray Davis is going to be a good number 2 in Buffalo, but how many touchdowns can he possibly see with Josh Allen getting a bulk of them, and even with James Cook getting 3 or 4?
Yeah, well, I would not be surprised if Ray Davis gets more touchdowns than James Cook this year.
Oh, I agree, but what is that? 4 touchdowns?
Yeah. But hey, we'll see. Buffalo's like they have this weird hatred for James Cook. I don't even know if they hate him.
No, they have a weird hatred for James Cook around the goal line. That's where they hate him.
Like, James Cook could be a top 5 fantasy running back, but the Bills just don't let that dude score touchdowns, and they're always just like, we got to put another running back in or let Josh Allen run. I don't get it. Sean McDermott's got this weird. He's got to have a touchdown guy. It can't be James Cook.
I personally get the Josh Allen one. It's a much safer option to just let Josh Allen dive right up the middle. He's gonna get it. But hey, man, we like fantasy football. Get Cook some touchdowns, baby.
Yeah. Don't be a hater, Sean McDermott. But A.D. Mitchell's a great pick at 12. Like, I considered picking him at 9.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
big fan.
Ray Davis could be a touchdown guy. I don't know how much time he actually cuts into James Cook's role, and then Kadon Slovis, who's not the actual pick, even though it's on the board there. Bucky Irving or Javon Baker. I agree with you. Much better picks in that spot. But hey, we get to
100%.
bash a pick to computer. What are you doing, Team 12?
Yeah, Team 12, bunch of idiots. Learn to play fantasy.
Yeah. Maybe they know something. Maybe they're just buddies with Kadon Slovis.
Maybe they hate Anthony Richardson.
Maybe they do. Maybe they do. Hey, what's up? I can see you now. Hey. I don't know how that's going to show up on recording. I'm interested in seeing if both of us are there on the screen with the big board.
Couldn't tell you. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Hey, you got it. That's
maybe this the first time they're seeing me. That'd be something.
I've just been talking to voices that are similar sounding to mine for the most part. All right, so there we go. We got our 3-round rookie dynasty draft in the books, and we're done. We're closing the door.
Yep. Adios.
We're shutting
done.
the door.
It's in the past,
We're done with the podcast. We will see you guys next draft cycle.
Strap it in. I'm already summer scouting for 2025, so let me do that.
Yeah. Closing the door on the 2024 rookies specifically.
I loved it. The draft class, it was the best
incredible
draft class I've scouted since we've started doing this. Next year's draft class is going to take a hit. It's not this draft class, that's for damn sure.
Yep. Hey, I just hope it's better than 2023's.
It is. It is better than 2023. Yeah. It's not that bad. But
I haven't done a whole lot of diving into things, so I do look forward to starting that. But start next cycle. It's fantasy football, so we're going to continue on our rankings, and that's where the show's going to start focusing on here. We do want to give you a 2025 little mock draft at some point, whether it be 10 rounds, 10 picks.
Rounds. We're doing more rounds than the real draft.
Just the top 10, or maybe we'll do a full one. We'll see going forward. So look for that sometime in the future. That's not going to be the next episode, but that is something we want to do once we dive a little more into scouting for this coming draft class.
I was going to say, they got to give us time to scout out some 2025 guys. I watched a couple quarterback stuff, a decent amount of stuff today, actually, about some quarterbacks. It's an interesting class, that's for sure.
I've just been focusing in on the positions the Vikings need, so I've been watching some
interior quarterbacks.
Not quarterbacks, yeah. Interior defensive linemen, edge rushers, corners. So I've been watching the boring defensive guys. Defensive tapes can be a struggle to watch at some time.
A real snooze at some point.
Yeah. So next episode we'll do
some type of fantasy stuff.
Yeah, maybe
for redraft.
Yeah, maybe we'll have a rankings episode, just a preliminary top 10 quarterbacks and something for this year. We'll figure it out. I haven't fully statted out everybody, but I could probably have a good idea of where I'd end up putting people. So that's probably what it'll be based on. And then it'll change throughout the off season here as we continue finishing out our stats and whatnot there. Or we can start team previews too. We can start doing that. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Yeah, it'll be a mystery. Next episode, you don't know what you're getting. You might not even get us. Maybe we'll have 2 substitute people on.
That'd be hilarious.
Just throw you guys off, and we're just not even here. Not even here, because I'm running out of hats. I'm running out of hats. Now I got maybe 3 more hats left.
My God, not even a month. Adios.
Yeah. I'll look at my car. I might have more hats there.
But yeah, I'm happy to shut the door on 2024 draft class. We've been doing it for almost a whole year now at this point. So I love these guys. The draft class was great, but let me get on the fantasy football, baby.
Hey, the door's never fully shut because we're going to bring up these guys in redraft situations.
Oh, well, yeah, no, these guys are... But to focus purely on these set of guys.
Yeah.
Let me talk about Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb and Devon Singletary, baby. These late round guys. Zach Moss, baby. Big Zach Moss guy this year.
Zach Moss.
Yes, sir. I'm all in for fantasy, baby. I'm ready.
We'll see. Yeah, I'm also ready. So you'll also get a fantasy mock, a redraft mock coming up. Maybe we'll get a friend or 2 on, and we'll do a full thing. We'll try to get some friends here to do just for mock drafts.
Hey man, I've had a few people reach out and tell them get on the pod, and I'm like, I'll get you on for a Ziffle mock draft.
No one has reached out to me, so
they like me more. That's why.
Well, I'm the producer. I'm the one who should be getting reached out to. I've talked to people about.
I'm out here booking people. I'm booking people.
Hey, you just got to tell me, and I'll send them the link. We'll get them on. Mock drafts only.
Probably.
Oh, that's not true. Van, our nephew, he's asked me to be on. Yeah, and that's never gonna happen. Sorry, Van. I don't even
Wild
think he
card.
listens. Yeah, there's always a wild card.
We'd have to actually edit the episode Van's on.
Yeah,
We'd get 100%.
AI is voice.
Yeah. But
yeah, there you have it. 3-round Dynasty rookie mock in the books as we shut the door finally on the 2024 rookie draft class. It's been a heck of a ride. I can't wait to see how these guys end up doing, and we'll touch base on them again. I'm sure we'll kind of do a rookie review maybe toward mid-season. We'll see how these guys are doing, kind of see how they fall and how we have them
Isn't
ranked.
that weird how we dedicate so much time to these set group of guys, and then in 2 years 75% of them are pretty much absent out of the NFL.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's a shame. It's a shame because a lot of them are just guys you like, and opportunity wasn't there.
yeah.
And
because they're all
crazy things
talented.
like
At
that.
the end of the day,
Yep.
each one of these guys are talented. It's just the opportunity wasn't there. Injuries got involved. The coaching scheme didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL's a tricky business.
Like there it is. Drafted Up podcast. Sorry you guys didn't get us last week, but we'll be back next week, I promise. Back to our every week schedule unless something comes up coming up. But there it is. 2024 draft class done. Focusing now on fantasy football. We'll throw some summer scouting stuff here and there if we need some filler. As always, follow us over on Twitter at @draftedUp_pod. Like, rate, subscribe, review over on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. Drafted Up podcast. Search us. We're there. Thanks guys. We love it. Drafted Up. We'll see you next week.
Appreciate you. Adios.